Warning: the following contains spoilers for the FNAF franchise and contains references to graphic content. Viewer discretion is advised. Hi everyone, Arkham Gamer here, and today I want to do something I've been planning on doing for a very long time, at this point I believe almost a year in the work, and I want to do a FNAF retrospective style of videos regarding all the games. And I want to start off first of all with the first one, and then, going on to the second, third, fourth, so on and so forth. And I want to go at it in a retrospect in a sense of the lore and a little bit of what went on during the community. But I guess the main focus point of this would be more towards the lore. And I want to do this in a very lore-friendly way for newcomers, whoever it may be. As of recording this, it is the 10th anniversary of the franchise, so why not better to do this now when 10 years of lore, it can all be jumbled up into random craziness that maybe a lot of people may not understand at this point. And trust me, other people have tried their hand at the lore and all that crazy nonsense, and it can be overwhelming. And so consider this as a beginner's guide to the franchise. And before we even get started with the lore of the first game, I want to start to say how we got to this first game to begin with. To get a point across, this franchise was first created by Scott Cawthon. He was a game developer way before he did all this. He did other games like The Desolate Hope, The Legend of Land. I think that's one of the games he did. Sit and Survive. And then one important game that he did make right before FNAF was Chipper and Sons Lumber Co. That one, when he released it, was very critically panned. People did not like it. It wasn't critically well received, so on and so forth. One of the criticisms he did get regarding the game was that the characters themselves looked like animatronics, creepy, lifeless, so on and so forth. After hearing all these criticisms, he was allegedly very depressed. I'm not sure how valid that statement is, but I think word spread around that he was going to quit game development, but wanted to do one last thing before doing so. And that last thing was going to be, if they think my games are scary, might as well lean into that, And so he did. And that's how we ended up getting the first Five Nights at Freddy's game, which is pretty impressive that if he didn't decide to make this game, he would have quit game development. A lot of people may have not been introduced to horror in general, because this was my lead gateway into horror. So I commend Scott for not giving up and for giving us this game. So, to properly get introduced to the game, when we first start playing it, we are shown a help wanted newspaper, basically saying, hey, we need a night guard to watch the animatronics, make sure nothing's stolen, all that. Desperate. And so we are then introduced to the phone guy, who is essentially our mentor guide throughout the whole game. Most of it. He basically tells us like, hey, welcome to your new job at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, which you're located at. He goes over the mundane things like, hey, this is the place where fantasy and fun comes to life, You know how most corporate speak is. Then he also goes down to the interesting part of what I will talk about later on. He'll mention something regarding the bite of 87, actually. Don't know why I said it with the in it, but whatever. The bite of 87, which he states when talking about the animatronics used to move around during the day, but don't anymore because one of the animatronics bit someone. And he states that's impressive that the human body, I believe, can live without the frontal lobe, meaning one of these animatronics bit someone. It is never stated who it was or who did it in the game itself, but I do believe that is to be answered in the next game, which I will talk about in the next episode. So keep that in mind going on to the future. But after all that mention of the Bite of the 87, he keeps going on saying that the animatronics do walk around at night, so their servers don't overload or something like that, and that they're going to come towards you because they see you as a naked endoskeleton, and that is your job to protect yourself, survive, and don't let the power run out, because if you do, Freddy's gonna get you. Pretty simple first game, 1, 2, 3 ABCs, simple, not bad. But what the game itself doesn't tell you directly is that there's more hidden lore within it. For example, if you were to look in Cam 4B in the cameras, you'll see that there's like rules for the building. Basically, your standard don't run, don't do any of these bad things, don't touch Freddy, and don't poop on the floor. I do believe those are one of the rules, but whatever. If you do look at that camera every once in a while, it would still show the rules, but at one of those like rare moments, the rules will switch to newspaper printings. I believe 3 types. The first one, relaying what happened to the location, or what happened at this location, or that 5 kids went missing and that they were never found, and that the individual who lured these kids into a back room was caught on camera and was deemed an employee of the building. He was caught, but he wasn't convicted. So he was allegedly arrested, taken in, but nothing was put on him for the lack of evidence of him having any accountability to do with the incident. But regardless of him walking away scot-free, the bodies were never found. The kids were never found. Nothing. And that another newspaper printing will show up saying that the suits are oozing blood and mucus, and that it reeks. And another one will also mention how the franchise itself is going downhill and will probably end at year's end. And so, with these newspaper printings showing up randomly, anyone who's playing the game, start to finish, is probably never going to see these images. But if you're very keen in trying to find them, you're able to. And, being told that 5 kids went missing, they were lured to a back room of the building by an employee, and they were never found, it's led to believe that the 5 kids themselves were murdered. And with the other evidence being told to us saying that the suits themselves were oozing blood and mucus, we are led to believe that the kids themselves were stuffed into the suits, and that their bodies are probably still in there decaying. Which, that alone is pretty graphic for an indie game like this, but it is never told to us directly. It's something that we ourselves have to find, which it's nice on. That if we want to learn more, it's up to us. If we don't, it's fine. Regardless, I did mention that there are 5 kids that went missing, but if you're playing the game, you see that there is only 4 animatronics. That being Freddy the bear, or Freddy Fazbear, the main guy of the whole building, Bonnie the bunny, the blue rabbit, despite the fact that he's in purple lighting in most cases in this game, but he is blue, Chica the chicken, and Foxy the pirate, who is the only animatronic that, if you look at the Steam page, you will not see a glimpse of him. He's the only character that, when it first released, no one knew about, because you don't see him right away, unless you're not looking at the cameras long enough. And that way, he will, pop out, be like, hey, how he, sorry, how he lurks out of the Pirate Cove and all that. But there is a 5th secret animatronic, that being Golden Freddy, or how he's named in the files of the game, Yellow Bear, because he was never given an official name. The name Golden Freddy was given to him by the fans, by the community, and that will inevitably stick on to him, So, yeah, Golden Freddy is a secret character that you can see and get jump scared by if you're looking at the cam Tubi? No. Either Tubi or 4B, one of those 2 cameras, and that the camera where it shows the Freddy poster, it has a very, very low chance of it switching to a poster of Golden Freddy. And if that happens and you put your camera down, he will show right in front of you. And if you don't switch to the cameras right away, he will jump scare you and crash your game. It was meant to be an Easter egg to the fact that, there are 5 missing kids, and you see 4 animatronics. That's where the fourth one went. And not to mention, we don't really see him on the cameras, except only for the poster. And, him showing up in front of us in the office. Which, when he shows up in the office, many people believe that it's not him physically being in there, because he can show up when both doors are locked. It's meant to represent that of a spirit, emerging in front of you. Because he doesn't emit a shadow in the room, unlike the other animatronics when they enter the room. And many people back in the day used to theorize that the actual physical animatronic of Golden Freddy was in the kitchen, since in the cameras, all the cameras are working minus the kitchen. The only information you get from the kitchen is just audio. And that only helps you to indicate where Chica is, because she will make a lot of noise in the kitchen. And not to mention, Freddy, when he's on the prowl, he will activate his music box. And it's led to believe, since he moves only in the dark, that the kitchen itself is already dark enough. It's already dark, and that when he's in there, he's playing the music. And even when he is in the kitchen, if you go to the camera, the music will get louder. But yeah. To go back a bit, back to the fungi topic, for the rest of the game, for the first, second, and third, and fourth night, he gives us advice, or correction. For the first, second, and third nights, he gives us help, checks in on us, all that. But for the fourth night, that's the difference. That's different. Because in the fourth night, he calls us very panicked, congratulating us that we made it towards our fourth night, but he himself doesn't seem very excited, but he seems nervous. And as we're hearing the phone call, we can hear that there's banging loud banging in the background of the phone call. And that he's telling you like, oh, hey, I hope you get this, and I'm glad that you're getting this message, and that he's glad he recorded these phone calls when he did. And that he always wondered what it looked like inside the suits and all that. You know, making a last quirky remark before he inevitably is jump scared, killed, all that. Allegedly by Golden Freddy, because the jump scare sound we hear in the phone call is that of Golden Freddy. But right before he dies, we do hear the music box. So we're led to believe that he ran out of power, and that either Freddy, Golden Freddy, and probably even Foxy, because out of everyone in the game, Foxy is the only one that is able to bang on the door. So, and whenever he does bang on the door, it does drain power. And with the repeated banging on the doors that we hear, it's not shocking that he inevitably ran out of power, the phone guy. So, yeah, and I guess also a quick fun fact, the phone guy is voiced by Scott Cawthon himself. So, if you're new to the franchise and watching this video, thank you, and that's like a little, fun fact, I guess, that you get to hear what Scott sounds like, And yeah. And if you beat the game, all that, you're given a, hey, welcome to the family, all that, and then we're given a secret 6th night to play. We beat that, we unlock a custom night, that being the night 7. And if I remember right, and many people in the fandom used to say that if you put the custom night code to 1987, sorry, you would unlock the kitchen camera for, the Bite of 87, 1987. Like a little hint, but it wouldn't really. Scott caught wind of it, and then later on in an update added, an Easter egg to it. That being, if you put 1987 in the custom night, you'll be jump scared by Golden Freddy himself, leaning into that maybe Golden Freddy did the Bite of 87, which I wasn't really a big fan of it. I wasn't very, I didn't think that was the right choice, but at the time I can see why many people thought so. In my opinion, when the games first came out, my main suspect was Foxy, and then second on the list was probably Freddy, since in one of the official images of the game, you can see like a close-up of Freddy, and on that close-up you can see like imprints of like a hand on his face, as if a kid was trying to push his head out of the mouth of Freddy, So that one was a bit more believable than thinking it was Golden Freddy, And so, yeah, that would be most, if not all, of what was officially told to us throughout the game, through the game itself, other than the "It's me" images flashing abruptly throughout the nights, spirit, or I don't know how to explain it very well, but like images of like the heads of Freddy, Bonnie, Eyeless, only like the white dots, or I guess like silver eyes, only showing, and then repeated flashes of it's me, that also gets splattered across a hallway that has a bunch of posters that can quickly switch to the words "it's me," a weird emoji of a crying face, which I will bring up in the next episode regarding a certain character. And then not to mention it's me also being seen on Foxy's Out of Order sign. And so that'd be everything official regarding the first game. One last thing I want to mention too is that Game Theory, when he did a theory regarding this first game, he did suggest that this first game was a dream, essentially, a dream theory. That we, Mike Schmidt, the main character that we're playing as, is the murderer that killed the 5 children way back when, and that the camera footage that we're seeing isn't us, trying to survive the night, isn't real time, but just the camera footage of us being caught, since in the newspaper reports it does say that the individual who lured the kids to that room was caught on camera. That meaning that we're reliving we're rewatching ourselves being caught red-handed, essentially, and that these nights are just nightmares, us to repeat over and over and over again. And that's why when you're in the 5th night or 6th night, one of the two, you're given a slip saying, "Welcome to the family, see you next week." Almost to say that this nightmare is going to keep going on and on and on. Which wasn't a bad theory at the time, since it was the first game. But now with I don't know how many games, a bunch of games later, this isn't the case. But it was an interesting theory at the time, and so I thought I should bring it up here. So, regarding this first video of the Retrospective series, thank you for watching. If you watched all the way through, so thank you. The second episode regarding the second game will most likely be released maybe closer to the time of the second game, but I have no doubt if I get to work on it pretty soon, I'll release it probably September or October. And if that's the case, I hope that works great for me. If not, it will most likely be released in November. But regardless of the doubt, I will release the second episode soon. And that will focus mainly on the second game, the lore in that, and including the teasers, since this is where Scott, started doing the teasers, let me bring up the image and see, what's going on in the background, So keep an eye out on that, and I want to mention this right now. I have been very inactive with my channel. I wanted to upload this video years ago at this point. This was supposed to be released before the FNAF movie was released, and then I said, you know what, whatever, I'll upload it after the movie comes out, for anyone who saw it and wants to, learn more about the franchise. And then I was like, you know what, let me relax for a bit, I'll release it after New Year's. And so I made a post on Instagram saying like, hey, I've been busy, but I'm gonna be posting content soon, and content was not uploaded soon, so I do apologize on that on my behalf. I have been very busy working and personal life, so I will get back onto making content for this channel, and hope to see you guys very soon. Thank you for your wait, thank you for your patience. See you all in the next episode. Thank you, and bye, good night, good afternoon, sorry, I tried doing the Truman thing, the good afternoon, good evening, and good night. So, yeah, see ya.